Good Wednesday night, everybody. Today's March 16th, and I called winter off a few weeks ago, and you know what? I might have been a little too soon because we have a very interesting situation for late this weekend into Monday, and it can happen in late March. We've had storms before in late March. Now, they're not frequent, they're not often, but they're not extremely rare. I can think of maybe 5 or 6 big events we've had in late March. But today I want to go through what's really influencing the storm system, why it's been changing. Right off the bat, things are going to go back and forth. It was out to sea this morning, then it all came back west today. But at the end of the day, my first think is I think this is an I-95 up into, say, central interior New England type of an event. I don't think it's going to be a storm that knocks South Jersey to eastern Mass and no one here gets anything. I think it's either everybody in here gets a good dumping with rain changing to, or snow changing to rain near the coast, or it's not going to be much of anything. That's my view right now. Let me tell you why. Let's dive into it here. So the first thing you guys have to realize is this weekend we have very cold air that's going to be coming directly from Canada. And this is it right here. So an injection of cold air ahead of a storm this weekend. Very, very important. You need cold air, especially this time of year. The cold air is in place. On top of that, we're going to have this digging disturbance in the northern stream. We have all the southern energy. These are the two jet streams. 1, 2. The question is going to be, how do these interact? And when you want to see how these interact, you got to look at larger features in the atmosphere to see how the flow, if it's going to be fast, if it's going to be slow. Right now, some pretty big signs we have for an East Coast storm. One, beautiful ridge that's going to develop out west. This helps bring everything in, okay? We have a great block or area of high pressure over Greenland, which is a negative NAO. We have this low over 50-50 coordinates, which is right over, say, eastern Canada, another big classic signal of an East Coast storm. So now it comes down to is, are these features going to be aligned properly so the energy really consolidates here and we get a storm? Now, over the last couple of days, the models have been struggling with how the energy gets handled. For example, if we go back to, say, this morning's run, all this southern energy was pretty sheared out. So it was spreading it out, it wasn't consolidated. What happened was you had a storm that was offshore. So watch. So older runs had this storm offshore. Okay. What started happening today, guys, was you're starting to get a little bit more of a change with how this southern energy is being handled, and it's a testament to the blocking over Greenland and the ridge strengthening to the west. So if I go to the newest run, you'll see it's so hard to tell, but you have a little bit more energy getting consolidated. Here's the old run. Hold on. So let me go back to this. So this is, okay, so this is the old run. This is the new run. Old run, new run. Notice this all gets pulled back a little bit in the new run. It's a little more consolidated. The old run's more sheared out. Little tiny differences. You almost might not even notice it, guys. Make a big difference at the surface. And what happens is you have a storm that ends up coming very close to the coast. And I think this is actually going to correct more west. The European model has a storm that's more west. It bombs out a storm, gives heavy snows all along the I-95 into New England. The Canadians doing the same thing. The European ensembles. I can go on and on. The trend has been very strong today for a storm to develop. And now it's going to be down to, okay, where's the actual track of this thing? I don't think this is going out to sea. I'm actually not thinking that the trends today are going to support that. I could be wrong. I think this ends up going more west. And again, I think I-95 inland is a nice snow event potentially. And then we have snow to rain near the coast. A lot can change, guys. A lot of different variables at work. But again, it all comes down to what is the interaction going to be between, going back here, between this disturbance in the northern stream, this southern energy. We want to make sure that this is a little sharper so it interacts with the northern energy to the north, which pulls a storm up the coast. If we get it to be too flat, like we had the other day, then everything just gets sheared out. That's all for tonight. Just wanted to give you my perspective. I'm in a little bit of a rush, but I'll have more details tomorrow.